were conditioned, and that's what you put
Grand
into your
Rising.
subconscious mind. Your life starts to.
How y'all doing this morning? So I decided to start vlogging. I had this camera for over 2 years and I have not put it to use. So if I look like I'm looking to the left, that's because the screen is right here. But if I'm looking directly into the lens, then I have to focus myself to the lens and not to the screen because I can see myself in the peripheral. But anyway, I just wanted to start vlogging and talking and sharing some resources and some information with you guys. It is 9:24 and it is June the 9th, and I am standing outside of my home, and it is a beautiful day. Look, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I have gratitude for the trees, for the birds, for the birds chirping, for the sound of the birds. The sky's blue. Look at the sky. I know y'all probably like, what is this girl on? I'm on cloud 9. That's what I'm on. Living this thing called life. So, you know, I just want to kind of like share some information with you all because a lot of people aren't familiar with what I'm about to share with you. And it's very simple, but it can be very hard for those who are not in alignment with themselves, right? So you want to live a lifestyle of peace, happiness, clarity, love, abundance, prosperity, and you can. It's your birthright. You deserve all of those things. But in order for you to receive these things, you have to be in alignment with yourself. So it's going to be hard for you to receive these things because us as humans, we are resistant to everything, right? We can be resistant and we be in our own way. We stop ourselves from receiving what the universe has for us, what God has for us, because we want to do things. We are not used to going with the flow. When you go with the flow of things, you're not resisting. You just letting things flow. No worrying, no stressing. Stop stressing. Stop worrying. You know, this is something that I had to do, and I am living it still. And I am a testimony. I have a story. So for me to be in the space that I'm in right now, I had to experience some contrast that did not feel good. And so with me feeling that contrast, I knew simultaneously what I wanted for myself, right? And so I knew that that didn't feel good, and I didn't want to keep experiencing things that just didn't feel good to me, because when you don't feel good, you vibrate low. And when you vibrate low, you cannot receive what this world has to offer. It is your birthright. It is your birthright to live a life of prosperity, abundance, peace, love, joy, happiness, all of those things that make you feel good. And it's important for you to stay feeling good, even in the moments where it is contrast. Still feel good, you know, because at the end of the day, you have the power, you have the control to feel the way you want to feel. Even in bad situations, you can feel good. I've experienced it, I've practiced it, and it has literally became a part of my life where if I'm experiencing something that don't feel good, and I don't even like to say bad, I just like to say don't feel good, because the way how I perceive life now, there is no bad. There is only things that happen to give you an experience so that you can make a decision to get to that next level. So to me, I don't experience bad. I experience contrast to help me level up. And so what I want to say to you is you want to give yourself that opportunity. You want to give yourself a chance. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So it is important that you understand that you must feel good. You must put yourself in spaces where you are feeling good. And even if it's hard not to. Look, I understand that you may have been experiencing some trauma. We all experience some trauma. We got childhood trauma. We got adversity childhood experiences. Us as adults, we still dealing with things that happened to us in our childhood. We have experienced things in our adulthood, right? And so it's our responsibility, though. It's our responsibility. Not nobody's responsibility on the outside of us. It is our own responsibility to make sure that in those moments of adversity and contrast, hey, do I want to feel this again? Do I like this feeling? No. Well, what can I do about it to get away from it, to change it, right? And that's how I look at situations, and that's how I deal with situations. I don't get mad. I no longer get mad. I used to, but when I learned that getting mad can slow up me receiving and manifesting the things that I know I deserve, that I know God wants me to have, then I had to make some changes, right? And so it's up to us to make those changes, and we have the power to do that. If anyone wronged you, don't look at that person and expect for them to, apologize. And I'm gonna be real with you. We have parents that gave birth to us who wronged us, and they still don't owe us anything. We have to get to that space and that place in our lives where we can't expect for a person to give us something that they don't have. When we do that, we start to vibrate low, we stress, we are depressed, we are dealing with all negative energy, negative vibes, all because we holding someone to an expectation that they cannot give. And it's not that they don't want to, they don't know how, they don't even understand how. So the whole time we vibrating low, feeling some type of way, we bitter and we angry because we putting this expectation on our family members or our close friends or even our spouses and children, when the whole time they really don't have it in them to give. So it's up to you as the individual, it's up to me as the individual to make that decision to say, okay, well, since this person isn't capable or have the capacity to, add to my peace, add to my happiness, or add to my joy, or add to my finances. Because let's be real here and let's be honest. We can't expect any of those things that I just listed from a person. They can add to our happiness. They can add to our finances. They can add to our peace and joy. But they cannot give it. Like, we cannot expect it from them. Because it's something that comes from within. That's what alignment is all about, right? So, I believe that we as people have to get to that space where we have to hold people accountable. I'm not saying don't hold people accountable. Do that. But also simultaneously, don't expect. First of all, don't expect something from somebody that you're not giving your own self. Let's start there. Because if you're not giving it to yourself, how do you expect for someone else to do it or give it to you? And I mean, like, for example, love. If you don't love yourself, how do you expect for someone else to love you? Like, that's crazy, right? So I'm here to enlighten you all. I'm here to empower, to inspire so much that I want people to understand. I want people to know that the things that we've experienced in life that may have hurt us is a bigger picture. It is a bigger picture, and it is to make you as an individual come out of hiding, and it is to help you to be stretched and to put you and catapult you into those spaces and those rooms that God is trying to get you in, right? Contrast, adversity, all of those things that don't feel good has to happen. Let's look at people who have experienced, you know, hardship, and they are now millionaires. You know, you hear a lot of people that are very successful, but they have a story behind them. They had to experience some stuff. Jesus was one of the ones. Let's talk about his story. When we experiencing things here in the natural, where you feel like you're just the only one, like me, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that feels or does or believe and do things this way. But what I understand is when you're trying to break curses, not just in your family, but just in your life and your community, that you are going to have a group of people who are not going to understand you. They are going to be against you. And every time I've experienced this in my own family. So what I do is I think of Jesus and how he, you know, did things the way he did, and no one stood for him, and no one, you know, believed he was who he was, because he was doing things like he wasn't the majority. He wasn't doing what everybody else was doing, right? And so when I find myself in those spaces where it's just me and I feel like I'm being attacked, that communicates to me that I'm doing something right. I'm doing something great. And that's something I had to understand and had to accept. Because what I'm not going to do is dim my light, stop being my true authentic self for a group of people who don't even know who they are, for a group of people who are not even in alignment with themselves. That's what I won't do. And there's a lot of people out here who are dimming their light. There's a lot of people out here that are, you know, who are stepping away from themselves, getting out of alignment to please other people who are not in alignment. I be damned. I'm not doing nothing for nobody. I'm selfish with me. I'm selfish with myself. A lot of people be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Why? So you can feel better? No. I'm going to do what makes me feel good. And I'm going to do what God wants me to do. No longer will I do things to appease people and their feelings. And nor will I pacify feelings either. And that's what I'm here for. And that is the traditional way of life, and the way people from the generations before us did and lived. This new generation, the world is changing. You know, you got the Gen Zs, the millennials, the Gen X, like the world is changing. And so I get it now. There are a lot of rebels. There are a lot of, you know, kids in the world who are not the same. And it's a name for those group of people. What are they called? I can't remember, but it's a name for people who are rebels. And I don't even want to say rebels, but they are no longer living the traditional way of how life used to be. Like, and that is okay, because we need them type of people to change this world, right? And I think some way I fall in line with that group of people. So, but yeah, this whole video is to enlighten, to inspire, to help, to encourage, to uplift people, specifically females, to discover their true authentic self. In order for you to discover your true authentic self, you must have self-love, you must have self-awareness, and you must know who the fuck you are. Self-identity. Yeah, you must know who you are. So you must be aware of self in order for you to live your true authentic lifestyle. No more living and no more thinking, you know, in mistaken ways. Like, what I mean by mistaken, like we do things and then we don't even really mean to do it. Like, I'm overdoing it. I'm overdoing things that I don't mean to do. No more making mistakes for me. Now, I know we all human and we still will make some mistakes. But if I can control myself from making choices that's not going to benefit me, then I'm going to do it the best way I can. And I'm going to do more of being intentional, being deliberate in my thinking, in my creation, and the things that I do in this world. And so I just want you all to know that it's your birthright to live an abundant life. It's your birthright to, you know, have a lifestyle of prosperity. It's your birthright to just flow. It's your birthright to go with the flow. You do not have to experience hardship to receive what this world has for you. A lot of people, we all do have stories again. But you do have a lot of success stories where people just went with the flow. They didn't resist life and things just flowed to them. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I am doing. I'm living in the flow. That's what I'm doing. Living in the flow and no more resistance, because I realize living a resistance life slows up the process, and it can possibly stop things that God is trying to do in my life from happening. And so I just let things be. I don't allow things that people say, people do to penetrate my heart. I am just a lover by nature. I know who I am so much that I'm able to love, and I'm able to have compassion and empathy, because when I'm in those moments of those emotions, that's where I belong. And I know it because it feels good to feel those emotions. And when I feel those emotions, that's when I receive my aha moment. And that's when I have my epiphanies. And that's when I get creative, because I'm feeling so good. And when I'm feeling good, I want to stay there. I don't want to feel bad, because we got a yin and a yang. We got the ups and the downs, the good and the bad, the left and the right. Like, we just got so much. And for me, I'm the person that's in the gray area. I'm that gray area person. And so, because we forget about the gray area, right? We forget about that gray area. It's no one advocating for the gray area. But, yeah, I'm just thankful for God using me. I'm thankful for the universe. I'm thankful for source energy for using me as a vehicle to just advocate on the behalf of people who are not aware of the things that they deserve. No more living a lifestyle of pity. No more playing victim. No more just none of that. Because you vibrating low when you living in these frequencies. You need to be, you know, a warrior. Yeah, I've been through XYZ and I've experienced hurt, pain, heartbreak. I've experienced all of these things. But I'm still a winner. I'm still a winner. So I just felt the need to share this. I just felt the need. And I'm vlogging on my new, well, not my new, because I've been had this camera. But I'm vlogging on my camera that, you know, I had for 2-3 years and I haven't been using it. So, yeah. And what I also want to do, guys, is I had grabbed my bottle. So, for those who don't know, I'm a licensed cosmetologist and a certified hair loss practitioner. And I created. This is what happens when you are in alignment, when you are, you know, when you are in that frequency where you are feeling good. When you feeling good, that's when your creativity starts to come. You know, you just feel those impulses like, oh, I want to do this, I want to start this, I want to create this. When you get those moments, when you experience those moments, that is the opportunity. That is the time. That's when you are in alignment. Because you can come out of alignment real easy. But for me, I want to stay in alignment. And so what I decided to do was create a follicle serum for individuals who are dealing with, you know, hair thinning, hair loss, hair balding, and things like that. And so I'm trying to find, like, why is it so blurry? What'd I do? Here we go. It's still kind of blurry. But this follicle serum is something that I created because I wanted to create a product for my clients and for the consumer who are experiencing hair thinning and hair balding and hair loss. And you know, that's a video for another time, but I do want to share that you have people out here that's dealing with suicidal thoughts who don't have hair, or who do have hair and they just dealing with scalp diseases. They dealing with thinning, balding, whatever their issues may be. You got some people that's going through cancer, they taking chemo. You have people that have medical conditions that's causing them to lose their hair. So when you got people that's going through these phases, that is traumatic. And so for me, I wanted to create something to help them understand that there is still hope. And you know, even though you are experiencing this, because I understand that when you lose your hair, you losing a big part of you. But I also want people to know that even though they may be experiencing this, that there is still hope, right? And that's your story. And losing your hair is not the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. That's why God created me, so that I can create and come up with solutions. So my follicle serum is one. And with my follicle serum, I wanted to get creative and I wanted to get personal and intimate, because I am an intimate person. I service my clients in an intimate setting. I get very personal with them because I understand that they are dealing with something that can be very sensitive. And so my communication with them has to be different from the way I communicate with my regular clients. So I created this follicle serum, and on this bottle I have incorporated some affirmations at the bottom that I say every day, and I repeatedly recite these affirmations to myself. I write them on my mirror and I recite them to myself. And I have more than the 5 that I included on this bottle. But I'm just going to share with you the 5 that I say every day that I did include on this bottle, which is: I am love, I am prosperous, I am strong, I am peace, and I am wealthy. Now, I'm sure you guys heard that words have power. Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. There are so many ways that you can, you know, label it. But all in all, it's the same. And it's a fact. It's true. I am actually living all of the things that I am speaking into my life. And so I want other people to have this experience. I want other people to know that words do have power, good or bad. You could be cursing your own self when you're speaking nothing but bad out your mouth, when you're speaking things that's not beneficial, right? And so when people purchase my follicle serum, I want you guys to recite to yourself the words, the affirmations that I've included on this bottle. This is so essential to me because I have practiced speaking affirmations for years, and it is definitely something that is how do I say it? It's spiritual, if that makes sense, or it helps you to understand that there are things working out for you in the non-physical realm where we can't see. So even though we can't see these things that we're speaking, is manifesting, is happening. But you got to believe it. You got to understand it, and you got to know it, and you got to believe it.